everyone, this is Gayatri, and on behalf of the entire VNIT Alumni Association, I welcome you all to this yet another episode of podcast series. Today I've got Dr. Harsh Sethi with me. So he's like one of the most illustrious alumni of the institute and someone who's a successful entrepreneur. Sir, first of all, welcome to this podcast, and we would really love to know your entire story, how the college has had a role in it. So any, fond memories and your experience of being here at VNIT. So we would love to know that.
So thank you for very generous introduction. I've been successful and I'm a small, but yes, I have my own company. So I did my engineering in 1984, and that time it was a 4-year course. So we had been in hostels in VNIT. So I remember the days when we had the kundru ka sabji and bangan ka bharta, and we used to like, aaj to nahi khana hai. And then we used to go out and find places पीछे में अशोक नगर के अंदर में वहाँ पे कुछ खाने का. एंड द डेज वेयर वी यूज्ड टू हैव टी एट चंद्रमा, मिश्रा जी की साइकिल, एंड सम ऑफ द टीचिंग्स, आई वुड से नॉट रैगिंग पर से, बट टीचिंग्स बाय द सीनियर्स. Those were good days. We could build the bonds. Computers were just coming in. We used to have our first computer lab way back, I think final year, when we did some simulations, etc. But other than that, it was like pure studies and masti and going out to Birdie and Dharampet for theaters. So it was good memories. Still trying to recollect that after coming here for almost 15 years. So seeing all the changes, it's good to know.
Irrespective of which batch you're from, probably that kundru ki sabzi and all those things, that's one thing that unites all hostelers probably. So if you could just give us a quick capsule about how your career has been, if you've had any jobs or you have always had this business of your own. So how things have evolved in your career.
So when I was in VNIT, I was getting a scholarship, merit scholarship, and my father was not very well off. I come from a lower middle class family, and I was from Rajasthan, Kota, but I was born in Bombay. So during third year, the family situation was not very, good to sustain the educational expenses. So I started doing a job. I used to go to a company called Vidarbha Metallica for doing work there and get some 300 rupees. With the money, I bought a corduroy jeans and one sports shoe. That was my biggest achievement in college days. Anyway, but after that, I started working initially, but I had that ki khud ka kuch karenge. So first opportunity I got was in a company called Krishna Smelting, that was in Navi Mumbai. So the promoters, they said that you are a metallurgical engineer and we are doing copper and brass sheets, flat products. Why don't you manage the factory? So they offered me 7%. Went on, did work, but then one of the partners, he got cancer. He expired. So his children were not very much into this. So and we didn't get enough funds from bank or anybody, so the company didn't succeed. Went back to job, got some small capital, again tried something else. So like that, I think I tried 4 or 5 different kind of small companies, entrepreneurship, hand at that. But it was typically metallurgy related. So one was electroslag refining, but something else also did. So small consumer items like a Ganpati ka murti, usme putting up a tricolor flag during the Ganpati festival and all, and then other tool steel mein, calcium carbide mein, doing OVSC copper and all that. But then those times were difficult. You didn't get that enough support from the banks as a startup.
And this must have been like the pre-liberalization days.
Yes, right? So this was around 1984 to about 88, 4 or 5 years period wherein I tried different things. So mostly sometimes the product is good, but you're not having enough funds. Cash flow was issue. Sometimes somebody else who has got a major excess of strength, they could overcome you because of fund facilities they have. So all these things came up. I was getting married and my father-in-law was insisting that you're not doing anything. I mean, you don't have a good source of income, so you need to have before I get my daughter married to you. So I said, fine. And I had left the job. I mean, the last venture I did, we lost a lot of money. We did a shipment and we lost a lot of money. So I thought, let's try something else. So the company I was with, they had opening in Thailand. They were putting up a plant there. So they said, would you like to try out there? So that's how I went to Thailand. It was a totally different country. Language, culture, all those issues were there. So I started working there, but then वो कीड़ा था वापस से कि कुछ तो खुद का करना है. So again I started on my own. Luckily that time first venture was not successful. It was in import export and materials, tools, steels and all. It didn't work out. But the second one in 1999 I formed a company called Neon InfoTech. So that was the peak, I would say, financial crisis time in Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia has got a very stable exchange rate. So that was around 25 baht to a dollar. But that financial crisis went to 56 baht to a dollar. I was into like getting some software from abroad, like American companies, and then building on top of that some customized solutions. We were buying from abroad, then building that. So the exchange rate came into play and people were like, no, this is not the critical thing. It's a question of survival. Why would I buy something in software? My plant is running. I want to make it run. So 3 years, it was a difficult time wherein we had a product, we had a service model, we had engineering design, but it didn't work. But then we got the first customer around 2002 and then it picked up. So now I believe we're pretty good in Southeast Asia. One of the only companies, Indian companies, got a presence with almost anybody who's in oil and gas, petrochemical or power industry. We work with all supply chain, owner-operators, EPC companies, fabrication construction companies. And then we expanded from Thailand. We came to India, Myanmar, Korea, US. We had an office in Dubai also, but now it's more of a presence. So doing well.
Wow, that's really nice. So you also have something into solar energy, right?
Yes. So around 2015, like we realized that, there is a shift which is going to happen. And fossil fuels, it's not going to be sustainable for the future generation which is coming up. I am a material scientist. One of the customer also said they invested in solar energy because of the government insistence on cutting down on oil imports. They put up a solar plant and they asked us to design. Actually, our company to design. We said designing a solar plant is a child's play basically. It's just a structural design and placement. So we said no, it's you can do. No. They said you have been working with us for 10 years, so you do it. We did it and they put it near their refinery only. After a year, they said, "Arey bhai, isme to we are not getting those kind of returns and the land is usage so much and it needs cleaning and the efficiency is not so much." Yeah, this is solar plant. It's not a refinery after all. Then they said, "Why don't you do something? These are the challenges we face." So we started working on that. That was around 2017-18. So we started developing. So I have my own patent now on nano coatings. We developed some products. Showed them that this is microscopic plate. See, this is how it can work. This is microscopic plate. We are not interested. Come up with something tangible, something which is acceptable to us. So what? You do it on a solar panel. Okay, fair enough. Went back to the lab. We got associated with a couple of labs there in Bangkok, AIT, Asian Institute of Technology, and here in India, IIT Bombay. So we were doing testing and all. We did it on a small panel, 6-watt panel. Went back to them, showed, no, 6 watt is too small. Do it on a bigger panel. How big? 440 watt. 440 is too big for us because we were just, doing on a lab scale and all that. But they said, no, we'll give you the panels, you do it. So we started doing it. By the time COVID happened. So 2 years, the labs were closed and the customer also, the access to them was closed. 2022, almost like October 2021. So I had gone to Dubai for a conference and there we showed this idea of this coating, how it can help. So it was very well received. So while coming back in Bombay, I saw, yahan to COVID hai nahi. Everybody was like, as if there is no COVID at all. Everybody was eating on the street, no mask, nothing. It was very fascinating for me. I thought, why don't we look at, instead of Thailand, why don't we look at India? Because in Thailand, the supply chain was coming from China. And it was quite affected in a big way. We were not able to get commitments from China and all. So we started searching in India and we could find that this can be done in India. So in 2022, we then formally registered a company here, got it incubated by IIT Bombay, filed for patent, got the patent. Now, innovation, the nano coating has been recognized by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy on their website as an innovation. And we have got quite good results everywhere, so it's picking up now. So it's something which keeps me passionate.
Correct. No, so it's like wonderful to know. Innovations are probably, always going to come out of some sort of necessity. So it's wonderful to, hear that story. A lot of people have a little bit of skepticism when it comes to startups. So, what if I fail? You are someone who has witnessed a lot of failed ventures as well, and yet you persisted, and probably those failures have been like a big reason for your success today. So what kind of advice would you give people who want to take that plunge but are somehow hesitating, always trying for that backup plan, I would say?
One part is that we have to believe the culture that I'm getting a salary of, let's say, 1 crore rupees having passed out from VNIT, and therefore I'm in a very comfortable life. You have to come out of your comfort zone. Entrepreneurship is that you are moving away in something in which you believe in, you're passionate about. So first part is that, do you want to get out of your comfort zone? First part. If you want to, because you want to make a career for yourself, give it back something to the society, something to world in general. First step is that. Having done that, now comes the idea. Do you have an idea? There are people who could associate, somebody has an idea, somebody comes up with a different set of expertise level. They may be financial, they may be market related, they may be other parts in which you can combine the two. There are challenges in entrepreneurship, and you have to believe and you have to sustain that. Persistence, that is the second key. Having said that, I believe the infrastructure and the support system has come a long way in India for the startup ecosystem. The government support is there. I believe VNIT is also doing a lot to support the entrepreneurship and startup culture. So that helps. But then you will also need to learn, it's not just about one thing which you are comfortable. Maybe it's technical, maybe it's market, maybe it's customer requirement. You need to have a knowledge of other aspects also, like managing the finance, cash flow, fund flow, your market demand. How do you meet that? How do you manage your workforce? How do you manage your team? So all these things will also come in, and they play a certain role at a certain time. Initially, it's just about you, believing in you. With the culture catching up and with a lot of support from the government, this should be a good catalyst for somebody who wants to go in, get out of your comfort zone, try something, and I'm sure then they will see the results as well.
Any advice that you would have for people who are stuck in the mid-career? So because that happens a lot of, and I think especially in today's era, AI, ML is changing the scenario big time. So a lot of people are feeling that they are stuck in their career. Any specific advice, based on your experience and especially related to your field? What are the new kind of opportunities that are coming up?
Looking at data is the oil. In today's world, it is the oil. How do you use the data? How do you manipulate it, massage it, present it in a proper way? That is going to be the key. Having said that, like the context of data along with some technical could be a very good way. Estonia is a country where they teach the programming language right at the kindergarten or maybe school level, because they treat it as a language. Here we are treating it as a profession. So if you are treating it as a language and then you have some other skills and combine the two, then yes, of course, the world is open. That would be your niche area, and you can actually command a premium, or you can have a USP against competition. So that's one thing I would like to say. Just don't depend on IT. I mean, you're creating an app and you will think that, oh, this app is going to change the world. There are a lot of people who are maybe doing the same thing. So that becomes a very competitive thing. Try to do it something where you have some niche USP over the competition. That would help you a lot.
And so any new trends that you see in the energy sector?
Energy sector, what I'm seeing is one is of course the renewable energy, because fossil fuels wise, like carbon based, where every government is trying to cut down on the carbon emission, GHG emissions, and trying to become carbon neutral. Our country also has said that by 2030 they will cut down by 50%, and 2050 they're trying to be neutral. So it gives a very big opportunity in terms of what you're going to do in renewable energy space. Now renewable energy space, it could be solar, it could be wind, it could be the other aspects like, battery storage, recycling, waste recycling, waste to eat. Now green hydrogen is coming up very well. So their government focus is very much there. Support system is also there. And these open a very big avenue because as we move forward to a very developed society, the energy requirement and consumption is going to be higher. And it's going to increase. And to meet that, you have to look at other sources of energy wherein you don't depend on carbon-based fuels and try to move towards which are more renewable, self-reliant economy you can develop for.
You have so much of an experience in Southeast Asia. So typically when someone says, okay, I'm moving outside India, the other person would assume, okay, US जा रहा होगा या फिर, Europe. Southeast Asia, probably the only country they would see on that particular portion is Singapore. But you've been working in all these other countries as well. What are your insights? What kind of job opportunities exist in these countries? And for someone who's exploring options, what would you recommend?
Completely agree with you. In my batch or even now, people when they are looking for going abroad, they look as Western countries, US, Canada, maybe Europe, or at the max they will look at Australia or some other places. So Southeast Asia and that too, Thailand, oh my God, that was something. क्यों जा रहा है वहाँ?
Thailand probably is like just tourism that we would.
See, because these countries, they have a good pool of resources. So if you are trying to build something, here there is a gap between the availability and the resources which are going there. There is a gap. This gives us a good opportunity because people there, they understand and recognize and respect Indian talent.
Okay.
So Singapore, of course, there are a lot of Indians, but in Southeast Asia, countries like Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, they recognize, respect Indian, that they are cut above the above. Right? So there is an opportunity. Now the question becomes that, of course, the Western countries, there is an advantage that English is the main language. Here it is not. So then you have to adapt. Maybe I need to have local languages, cultures, customs. That's a little bit of adjustment you need to do. But then it gives you quite a big opportunity in terms of career growth or starting on your own.
Correct. So what other languages do you understand, because you've lived there for so many years?
So I can speak Thai, read and write. I understand and speak a little bit of Japanese. I mean, other languages I can understand, but if I speak Thai, then you wouldn't know that if I'm speaking on phone and I'm speaking Thai, you wouldn't recognize that I'm an Indian.
So if we could just speak 2 lines in Thai, I mean, just for fun.
Sawadee krap. ผมชื่อดร. Harsh Sethi นะครับยินดีที่ได้รู้จักและยินดีที่ได้มาคุยในพอดคาสต์ของ VNIT AA ผมสนับสนุนนะครับขอบคุณครับ So what I've said is my name is Harsh Sethi and I'm very happy to be on this podcast which is arranged by you and VNIT AA, and I'm happy to associate and I wish you all the best.
Okay, so it was like really fun to hear. I mean, maybe we would also want to have this as part of the bucket list, learn a new language probably from South Asia.
It definitely helps when to any budding entrepreneur, I would say that learning a language puts you so much of ease with the person who's in the other part. Of course, Hindi, so I'm assuming that Hindi, we can all speak. Correct. It is going to be a major language going forward because of the Indian population we have. Other languages like people learn Chinese just because they know that Chinese is very big population. Spanish they learn because they know that Spanish is aware. So learning a language helps in communicating and knowing the customs and culture there.
For someone who's looking at business, I think communication, networking, these things become very crucial. So it's important that you learn that culture, adapt to their style. So this is like very interesting because like Europe, US, Canada, the culture is something we've known a lot. Even if someone has not been there, we tend to watch all these web series or something of that sort, so we can relate to their life.
So earlier that translation thing was not there. Like you see a web series and immediately that language translation is already there, so you can understand. Earlier we used to go by the sound, whatever music sound and their expression to figure out what they were saying. And then it came now immediately. I mean, the movie is out in Telugu yesterday and today you will have the Hindi version already.
And sir, since you've also been running your own company, so I'm sure you must have this experience of recruiting people from various colleges. What has your experience? Do you see this gap between industry and academia? There are certain colleges which do really well when it comes to bridging that gap. But in general, how has your experience on that front been?
I seriously think that there is a gap between academia and the industry. Industry requirements are quite different from what may be taught in the curriculum, so we need to have a relook at the curriculum, because industry and the world is progressing at a very fast pace, and we need to keep pace or maybe even outpace them, so that whatever is coming, student or the new generation is prepared for that. Having said that, one way is that bridging the gap is involvement of industry for certain kind of projects with the academia. Other is to have the internship, because like in our company also we welcome internship for third year students, so that they understand what could be the requirements in terms of hardcore engineering. We are doing engineering design consultancy, so we are designing pressure vessels, and some of the college graduates, they come out, they have never seen a pressure vessel in their life. They don't, I'm talking of general size. Sometimes some of the colleges, they don't have any planned visits, or sometimes they don't even understand like what could be the processes, variables which could affect. So therefore I believe that certain bridge between academia and industry is required, wherein industry input is also very important, as well as industry requirements in terms of what are their issues, what are their problems which can be catered by the academic field in terms of research, or in terms of going deeper down in solving that problem. That could help a lot.
Talking specifically about VNIT, how do you think we as alumni can facilitate that all of this happens at our institute as well?
Alumni Association is doing a good job in which they are trying to make a connect with all the alumni who are there in their respective field. We are coming from a very diverse experience, very diverse industry background, very diverse position in the industry. If we are able to have that connect with the academia, at least through some exchanges like this one which we are having, that would help kind of understanding each other. Definitely, as an institute, VNIT may have their own challenges when they do something regarding funding, regarding approvals, regarding the curriculum, regarding maybe the faculty. That needs to be understood by the Alumni Association as well, as to how Alumni Association can partly help in that. May not be fully, but at least partly help in that. Plus, the VNIT academia field also needs to understand from the alumni and the people who are coming in that what is the industry going for, to which direction, where it is heading to, what are the current trends, what are we industry looking forward to, what are the challenges, and then this bridge can be slowly mended and bridged. Maybe a lot of people will have different takes, like somebody is in ISRO, somebody is in Tata Steel, somebody in cement field, somebody is in education. So all fields will have slightly different challenges, but we need to bridge that.
So yeah, in a way we would probably want to take up crowdsourcing at this level as well.
Why not? Yes, one way of looking at it. And it's a very common thing nowadays, crowdsourcing, or generally, let us have a forum where people just put in an idea that how a problem can be looked at different angles, different perspective. That would help to bridge the gap as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sethi, for your time, and we really appreciate that you took time out for us, out of your busy schedule, and agreed for this podcast, and for all those valuable insights from a not so known part of the world as well. So I'm sure all of this is going to be really valuable for the viewers. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thank you for being able to associate with my alma mater and my colleagues, and very good job. Congratulations to Alumni Association, the team you have, the directors who are there in Alumni Association. They are doing a fantastic job. I wish them all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.